Welcome to the Unspoken Truth Podcast Sports Edition. This your boy JB, aka Spoken, and it's my dog on the line.
What up? What up? This is B-Ham. What up?
Aye. We got my dog B-Ham on the line. So yeah, B-Ham, the Buccaneers. Well, first off, I just want to say, man, my dog B-Ham, he decided not to report to the podcast for the past 2 weeks.
I don't know you was gonna pull that one.
Hey, my dog B-Ham decided not to report to the podcast for the past 2 weeks, you know what I'm saying? So forget him for not being a real true Bucs fan. And yeah, man, even though we won.
To save your face, I'll take that.
So you know, the Bucs have won their last 2 games. They defeated the Falcons 35-22, and also they defeated the Jacksonville Jaguars 28-11. So, y'all know I got to get into my statistics. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get into only the passing, the running, and the receiving game. All right, that's it. So we're gonna get into Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston for the Falcons was 18 for 28, 313 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. And Ronald Jones carried for 12 attempts, 51 yards, 4.2 average, 1 touchdown. Jameis Winston 8 for 38, 4.8. Peyton Barber 11 carries, 32 yards, 2.9, 0 touchdowns. And, you know, as you can see where that goes. Excuse me if I sound like I'm under the weather. And also, too, for the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat them 28-11. Jameis Winston was 28 for 33. 21 for 33. 268 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 0 interception. But the only thing about that was he did make a turnover, and that turnover was a fumble, which means that he has not went one game. I don't think since he's been a Buccaneer, especially in 2019, without fumble.
It seems like it.
Well, I didn't ask you to say anything yet, brother. Let me go ahead and get my little first part off. If you let me go ahead and be my first Stuart Scott, if you excuse me, my A5 brother.
I ain't your brother, but
All right, check it out. Hey, it's funny as hell talking to this dude, man. He is my dog right there. But yeah, man. Jameis Winston, he didn't score any touchdowns as far as passing, and didn't have any interception. But Peyton Barber had 2 touchdowns, 17 carries, 44 yards, which really ain't impressive. It seems like some end zone type stuff. And Ronald Jones was 6 for 8 yards. And Jameis Winston, you know what it is, 6 for 20, 3.3. But the thing is this is what I want to say is, though, when I see these numbers, I'm looking at it like, look, Peyton Barber seems like he rushed for 2 touchdowns in the end zone because the numbers weren't impressive. He had 17 carries, which means that the Jacksonville Jaguars did somewhat of a good job stopping him as far as defensively in the run game. So when we go back to the Falcons, you know, what I want to say about that is I think the Falcons, well, I didn't even watch that game. I watched that game, but I didn't. So what do you think?
I mean, so first of all, happy holidays, everybody. Hopefully everybody listening to this podcast had a great Thanksgiving and the week before, week after. You know, y'all haven't heard our voice in a little minute, so happy holidays. I'm going to kind of tie the Falcons and the Jags game kind of together Because when you look at the Falcons game, the Bucs did a lot of good in that game, and they also had a lot of mess ups. When I say mess ups, it wasn't enough to cost the Bucs, but every Sunday I tweet the Bucs are gonna Bucs, and that is just, as a Bucs fan, we've grown accustomed to where if the Bucs have a lead, we just hold on to our breath until the clock hits 0-0 into the fourth quarter, because you just feel like some way, somehow, the Bucs are going to end up losing that game. But the Bucs carried over a lot from that Falcons game. We look at the Falcons game. Jason Pierre-Paul had a fumble hit on Matt Ryan, knocked the ball loose. Ndamukong Suh recovered it and returned it for a touchdown. Vita V lines up on the offensive side of the ball and catches a 1-yard pass from Jameis Winston in that Falcons game. So you saw some pluses. You saw some sparks. You saw the Bucs in the red zone tightening up. You saw in that Falcons game where Matt Gay struggled to make an extra point, but he did make field goals. You saw the Bucs defense, Devin White and that young secondary kind of turning the corner. Carlton Davis got his first career interception in that Falcons game. And all that stuff carried over to Sunday's game against the Jags. I mean, the Bucs won 35-22 in Atlanta. The Falcons were coming off, 2 wins where they were explosive. They had the high. They were riding the wave coming back to Atlanta, thinking they had turned a corner, and the Bucs went into Atlanta and stole that game, which was a turning point. Now the Bucs are on a 2-game winning streak. So that on the defensive side of things, a lot of things carried over. When you looked at the Jags game yesterday, how the Bucs came out the first half and literally destroyed. And everything I'm going to say right now, we're going to put an asterisk next to it. So for all y'all listening, put an asterisk next to everything I say. And that asterisk should read as, these are the Jacksonville Jaguars. So what I'm about to say is, remember, the Bucs play the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yes, the Jacksonville Jaguars are a professional NFL team. Yes, the Jaguars have professional athletes and have athletes getting paid millions. But the Jacksonville Jaguars are a horrible team. So we shouldn't put the Jaguars on the pedestals of, like, and at JB, we were talking about this earlier. When I said when the Bucs beat the LA Rams in the beginning of the season, every Bucs fan was justified in thinking the Bucs had turned the tide. Because when you looked at it, the Bucs defense gave up a lot of points, but it was to the Rams. It was to the team that had went to the Super Bowl. So, it was a team that had Todd Gurley. It was a team, Aaron Donald on the other side of it, on the defensive side. And the Bucs beat them. They put up points. Mike Evans caught the ball. Jameis throwing bombs. The Bucs had a day in LA. So you were like, okay, the Bucs have turned. Yesterday gave you a glimpse of that, but again, that asterisk. They played the Jacksonville Jaguars. Going up in the half and shutting out the Jags in the first half, you had defensive stops. You had Devin White and his come-out game. Like, the player of the game yesterday was Devin White. I don't think anybody can argue against that. I don't think anybody can say anybody else. Devin White was the superstar yesterday. Devin White showed why, as much as I want Jason White to be fired, and he still needs to be fired this offseason, but Jason White yesterday showed why the Buccaneers selected him overall, not Josh Allen. And I know, I said it offseason. I wasn't mad that the Bucs drafted Devin White. Devin White, especially after the Bucs lost Quan Alexander, the Bucs needed a linebacker, and Devin White on tape looked amazing coming out of LSU. So either between him or Josh White, Josh White was lined up for the Jags yesterday as well. Devin White proved to be the difference. And, Devin White had a scoop and score for a touchdown. Devin White had multiple tackles. And Sean Sean Bunting Murphy. We want to talk about, as much as I've been on the secondary for them being too young and not being in the right places, they played a hell of a game yesterday. I mean, Sean Murphy Bunting, when after the Jags had to bench Nick Foles, Minshew comes in, gives them the spark. They're marching down the field. The Jags had already scored a field goal, already scored a touchdown. They were about to score more points when Sean Murphy Bunting made a huge play when the Jags were in the red zone, caught the interception in the end zone, made a rookie mistake of coming out of the end zone. But in hindsight, that INT was the turning point. And so, again, as much as we want to harp on this young secondary not making the plays, they did make the plays yesterday. And again, that was a carryover from that Atlanta game. I feel like the Bucs defense, I'm not going to say they turned the tide because I said they turned the tide at the beginning of the season. They turned me out to be a lie. But I do think this Bucs defense, and I know this is not the Buccaneers, but I'm going to bring his name in. Vernon Hargreaves, I think.
Oh, my God. Here you go. Here you go, man. He's no longer a Buccaneer. Leave him alone. He's no longer a Buccaneer. Leave him alone.
Now, can I finish? The split was for the best of both parties. I've always said that Vernon Hargreaves should have never played that number one cornerback role. This is why I blame Jason Light and why he needs to be fired. Vernon Hargreaves was always a good role player, a good nickel corner, not your prominent back. And what we've seen for 2 weeks, and especially yesterday when the Texans played the Patriots,
they stepped up. They stepped up without him.
Vernon Hargreaves has played okay when he is not the main corner, and that is what I have wanted the Buccaneers to do for the longest when it came to Vernon Hargreaves. But naturally, when you take a player that high, you can't afford for him to play just nickel. He has to be your number one, your top corner, and Vernon Hargreaves was never made out to be the top corner on any team. So
wow, on any team?
No.
On any team?
No, he's the perfect fit in Houston right now. He is playing his role, and that's why.
So what is he doing in Houston? Is he second or first?
He's playing the nickel, so he comes in on nickel plays.
So he's third.
He's not out there.
So he's third.
He's not out there every down.
So he's third.
Out on maybe third,
He's third. He's third string.
Yeah, like and he's not guarding the top receiver. The Bucs were asking Vernon Hargreaves to guard the top receiver of every team. We knew that was a fail from the beginning. But the Bucs drafted Vernon Hargreaves for the expectation that he would be the number one back. And when you lose a Brent Grimes, remember the Bucs lost Brent Grimes. When the Bucs lost Brent Grimes was the number one. He left. When the Bucs let other players go, Vernon Hargreaves all of a sudden becomes the number one back. And that's just not what he was meant to be. So, again, all this to say that, we harp on the secondary. And, again, that asterisk, what I said at the beginning, it was only the Jacksonville Jaguars. But the secondary played good yesterday. Jameis, although his stat sheet didn't have a touchdown on it, he moved the ball, but I was somewhat disappointed in the offense because most of the Bucs points came off of turnovers. They weren't able to execute a full drive. The one full drive they had in the first half, that ended with nothing. But overall yesterday, the Bucs needed that Jags game yesterday because they had a pretty much complete overall team effort. And that's what they needed. Again, it was the Jaguars. But for Devin White, he had a come-out show yesterday. He came out and proved to people why the Bucs selected him number one. He had a hell of a game. And, Brashard Perriman, speaking of my fellow UCF Knights, Brashard Perriman, who would have ever thought Brashard Perriman would be the leading receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? But that was him yesterday.
And you've been talking about him all year long.
Yep. And O.J. Howard,
he's trash. He got to go.
But O.J. O.J. Howard also was big yesterday. O.J. Howard and Brashad Perriman were the two top receivers for the Bucs yesterday.
Well, I didn't see the game yesterday. I didn't see the game yesterday only because you told me not to watch them.
Here you go on the lies. But my thing is with O.J. Howard, again, if you haven't picked up by now, I want Jason Light to be going. My thing is, why would you pay O.J. Howard and Cameron Brate these millions of dollars for you to rotate them, for you to decide which one you're going to go with? They make too much money for one of them to be sitting on the bench. And you wait. And
then they got Tanner Hudson, too.
And if you let O.J. Howard go, you've wasted a draft pick. So you don't draft O.J. Howard as high as you drafted him to say he's going. And you also don't give Cameron Brate that huge amount of money you gave him to let him sit. Again, I didn't understand that when O.J. Howard was taken. When did the Bucs draft him? What selection?
I have no idea.
He was in he was to the 2017 NFL draft. I'm trying to think of what pick the Bucs had that year. Hold on, it's coming up. The Bucs had a number 19 pick in 2017. Yeah. So you don't select the man number 19 in a 2017 draft for him to be going. Like you don't do that. But then I also don't understand why they gave that huge contract to Cameron Brate if they were going to let him sit. Because when you look at it, in that 2017 draft, the Bucs weren't going to draft, and the Bucs are going to get rid of O.J. Howard. I'm going to give you some names who came after O.J. Howard. Darren Conley, who's playing in Oakland, cornerback, was taken at 24. Jabril Peppers, safety, was taken at 25. Taco Charlton, who is on Dallas, was taken at 28. Reuben Foster, who is in some hell of a mess right now as far as criminal activities, but, we didn't know that would happen. He was taken at 31. Buda Baker was taken at 36. So if the Bucs are going to let Dalvin Cook was taken at 41. So in that same draft. So if the Bucs are going to let their number 19 pick go and not get nothing, it just shows how bad of a draft pick that Jason Light has done. Like, you don't let your number 19 pick in a first round of a draft go like that. And so that's why I just don't understand giving Cameron Brate all that money. And I feel like that's gonna come to hurt the Bucs. Although they're gonna have a lot of money in this offseason, you don't need two tight ends making that same amount of money. Like, it's just not how the league is set up to be anymore.
I say boot both of them, and then keep Tanner Hudson.
No, out of all, I say keep O.J. Howard unless you can get.
O.J. Howard ain't been doing shit, bro.
But unless you can get picks and players for him, that's only 2 drafts removed. So you mean to tell me a 2017
nigga Tanner Hudson, bro? Tanner Hudson is that guy, bro.
Again, so if you are saying Jason or O.J. Howard is done, what does that tell you about the GM who drafted him only 2 years ago?
Look, I'm talking about O.J. Howard right now, Tanner Hudson.
But I'm telling you, that says the GM is terrible and trash. Because I'm sorry, there's no way your first round draft pick should not be panning out. The last first round draft pick that has made a difference for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Mike Evans. And recently this year, Vita Vea has come around. Wait.
Are you saying that Jameis Winston, when was he drafted?
He was drafted in the first round, but Jameis Winston has not taken the Bucs to the promised land.
Was he first? Was he first?
Huh?
Was he first?
Yeah, I think the Bucs had a number three pick that year. Hold on, I'm about to tell you. But Jameis Winston has not taken the Bucs to the promised land. The Bucs
of course.
Huh?
Of course.
But that's what he was drafted for. Jameis, he was Actually, the Bucs had the number 1 pick that year. And you're right, because Marcus Mariota went number 2. Yeah, Bucs had the number 1 pick. He was number 1 overall.
Well,
Yeah. So I mean,
Jameis Winston has 2 more years. Well, I'm not gonna say he has 2 more years, but if I'm the head coach or I'm whoever, the GM or whatever, I wouldn't give him a max contract. I would give him 2-3 years, and then after that, it's it is what it is. But I would still be looking for a quarterback to replace your ass, just in case some shit pop off.
I mean, I agree with looking for somebody else to replace him, but I don't agree with giving him 2 more years. It's going to be interesting if the Bucs franchise tag him or work out a deal. I mean, maybe they do work out a 3-year deal with a 2-year option. That's one thing. I mean, Jameis is the only plus that Jameis has right now is that there's no other quarterbacks available to replace him. And I don't agree with the Bucs drafting a rookie because I think at this point in the Buccaneers franchise, the Bucs don't have time to this rebuilding process from a fan standpoint, even from a Bruce Arians standpoint. The Bucs did not hire Bruce Arians for him to go and draft a rookie quarterback, and now you're back two years ago. Like, the Bucs are not going to have a Lamar Jackson. The Bucs are not going to have a Deshaun Watson. The Bucs are not going to have a Patrick Mahomes. And so, what the Bucs need to realize is that in this draft, there is no quarterback game changers. I'm sorry. As much as we want to look at Joe Burrow from LSU and maybe some other quarterbacks that may pop up from, Hurts in Oklahoma to, Tua is now hurt in Alabama. None of those quarterbacks to me are going to come in. And this the way this offense is set up in Tampa Bay and this offensive line, I don't see any of them coming in and taking the Bucs more than what Jameis could do.
Bro, that's what I'm trying to tell you, bro. There's no other quarterback that's going to do a better job. There's no other quarterback that's going to do a better job than Jameis Winston except Lamar Jackson.
But
maybe Russell Westbrook. Not Russell
with,
Westbrook, Russell Wilson.
I do agree with to see what happens with Teddy Bridgewater in New Orleans, though.
Man, hell no.
You have to ask yourself. How much longer does Drew Brees have? If Drew Brees is still going to play maybe 2 more years, does Teddy Bridgewater really sit in New Orleans and waste 2 more years of his career?
Man, fuck all that shit.
We saw Teddy Bridgewater beat the Buccaneers earlier this year.
Man, that didn't mean anything.
And so,
he's still trash.
My thing is, Jameis has had 5 years.
But he ain't trash. He ain't trash. I take it back.
Nobody has ever said Jameis is trash. Jameis is very talented.
No, not Jameis. I was talking about Teddy Bridgewater. Like, I was saying he's trash, but he's not trash.
No,
but he's okay.
The thing is, Jameis has a turnover problem. Again, as we talked yesterday, he ain't done no interceptions, but he still had a turnover. It's like, Jameis, can we go 1 game without your name in the turnover column? Like, 1 game. And to me, like, that is what hurts the Bucs the most is that can we just go 1 game? Like, the only turnover the Bucs had yesterday was from Jameis. The running backs didn't fumble. No wide receivers fumbled. It was literally from your quarterback.
Yeah.
And so, that's what the Bucs are going to have to look forward to in the future. Now with their record, their inching is what I thought they were going to be at. The beginning of the year, I said it was going to be another 7-9 season. You thought they were going to make the Super Bowl and told me I was going to be paying for your flight.
I said they were going to the conference. And they still winning. So that and you and I talked about it, and you looked at the graph during Thanksgiving weekend, and you saw that the Bucs had a shot of going to the playoffs. So don't fuck around. So don't play around.
They're in like the 10th position right now, 9th position.
It doesn't matter. They keep winning, right? Didn't I say they're gonna go down to 7?
And they gotta hope everybody. That means so you
The Bucs are going to win
now,
literally the rest of their game. The Bucs are going. I am telling you right now, the Bucs are going to win the rest of their game.
I mean,
the Bucs,
NFC,
the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to win the rest of their games of the season.
Unfortunately, in NFC, that 9-7 is still not going to get them to the playoffs. But
they're going to win the rest of their games.
I don't think they're going to go 9-7. I don't think they're going to win the rest of their games.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
I think it's going to be the 7-9 season that I predicted in the beginning of the year. I hope they surprise me and go 8-8. But even at 7-9, you have to look at this Bucs team and ask yourself what got better. They play the Colts next week. The Colts lost this week, so the Colts are going to come fired up. I think that is a game the Bucs can win. I think, again, my slogan is the Bucs are going to Bucs. And the Buccaneers, as we've seen, can beat any team in this league if they play to their talent and capability and Jameis cuts out the turnovers. But when they fall and play to other people, you have a New York Giants game. You have a 49ers game, which they should have beat the 49ers. You have a game where they go toe-to-toe with the Seattle Seahawks, who just won tonight and who looks like they're pounding ahead to the playoffs. But the Bucs should have beat the Seahawks, and they let that get away. So it's like you never know which Bucs team is going to show up.
We're going to the championship. We're going to the conference championship this year.
We'll see. Yeah. So otherwise, I was a little disappointed in offense yesterday. Peyton Barber, had most of the carries. Your coach comes up, Bruce Arians comes up and says that Rojo didn't get the main carries because he missed the block. I don't know how much I believe that. We all know Rojo is the most talented running back on this team. I don't know what the Bucs are doing. I hate this rotating. I hate the rotating of running back because by the time one gets in rhythm, you're putting them out. And I know the coach said Rojo missed the block. Missed picking up the blitz. I just don't believe that. So, yeah, I don't know. It's good to see the Bucs picking up two in a row, but again, they come against the Falcons and the Jags. Wouldn't call either of them good, clearly, as the record shows. We'll see what they can do against a Colts team next week. I'm going to go out on a limb and pick the Bucs to win next week. The Bucs playing in Raymond James Stadium pick up a win next week.
The Bucs are going to win the rest of their regular season games, man.
I can see them doing that against every team except that December 21st date. That game gives me qualms, and that's when they play the Houston Texans.
And we're going to win that shit, too.
Deshaun Watson is very good, my brother.
And what week is that?
That is the second. That's the second to last game.
Deshaun Watson is going to the playoff regardless. If they win the next couple games, he won't be playing like that. So we win either way because they're in the AFC.
Okay, we'll see.
It makes sense, right? If they keep winning the next 2-3 games, how many games we got left?
Counting the Colts game, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 games. Colts. The Bucs play the Colts at home. They go to Detroit to play the Lions, and they come back to Tampa to play the Texans, and then back in Tampa to close out the season against the Falcons.
Exactly. It's gonna come around, man. To get ready for it.
So 3 out of the 4 games the Bucs have left are home.
Hey man, the Bucs gonna be straight, all right? Our offense tough. Our defense rough. Go Bucs. Go Bucs. Ain't no other teams stopping us. Go Bucs. Go Bucs. And the Raymond James will do our thing every time whatever. I don't even know the rest. But yeah, we here. We going to the playoff. Brandon getting these tickets.
I got you some box seats if the Bucs made the playoffs.
All right. Any last remarks?
Nope. But I know the Bucs. Again, I hope I'm wrong.
All right, y'all. It's your boy JB, aka Spoken, and it's my dog.
What up? It's B-Ham. Go Bucs.
All right, y'all. Man, we out. It's your boy JB, aka Spoken, and my dog B-Ham. Unspoken Truth Sports. Let's go. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 9-1. They go. 9-1. They go.